right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Our weather impact alert continues tonight as strong storms move through the area. We're tracking the threats and timing so you'll know what you'll need to do before bed.
In the middle of the storm, dozens evacuate.
We're looking at approximately about 25 houses that are in the direct path.
The efforts to keep a Missouri town above water. Election Day, less than 12 hours away.
May the best person win.
Election Day is upon us.
What you need to know before heading to your poll. And we start tonight in a weather impact alert. Here is a live look at downtown St. Louis. Strong storms are starting to move into our area. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Thanks for joining us. We have team coverage tonight following these storms and their impact. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who's been tracking conditions all day. Scott.
So, Mike, we have a tornado warning in effect right now, but we don't think that this is producing a tornado at the moment. And the likelihood of it actually producing another tornado would be slim. But we were able to confirm from the radar that in northwestern portions of St. Charles County, something did touch down and lofted some leaves up into the trees. In fact, they just discontinued that tornado warning that was in effect for Lincoln County. Still, the severe thunderstorm warning here. But again, the storm's starting to lose a bit of its intensity in this area at this point. So we think that's going to be the case here as we head through time. Now, this is what we would call our debris detector. So this little area here that was moving, where you see that little dropout, that's likely a bunch of leaves that were lofted up as this very small, brief tornado likely picked up some leaves and lofted them up to where the radar can see them. Not anything big, not anything that lasted more than a minute or two. But yes, your sirens did go off in Lincoln County and St. Charles County. Have another severe thunderstorm warning down here to the south. That includes areas along and south of 44 here in Crawford County, Franklin County, and parts of Washington County. It's this leading edge here. There could be some brief spin-ups with this too, but otherwise you're getting downpours and you're getting some cloud-to-ground lightning and probably gusty winds on the order of 50 to perhaps 60 miles per hour. Most of them have not been that strong this evening. But now through noon tomorrow, we're going to continue with our weather impact alert. This line of showers and storms coming through. Listen, if you've got your devices charged up, you're going to get your notifications, and you're inside away from windows and doors, you don't even know to go to the basement with these particular storms. They're not all that intense, but stay away from windows. Don't go out on the front porch and stare them down. We'll see you in a few minutes, and we'll keep track of these storms tonight.
And we have been on the roads all night. The wet conditions tend to cause problems in the same trouble spots where we've seen some accidents tonight.
Laura Barczewski is live from I-70 as the rain moves back in. How is it where you are, Laura?
Mike and Kelly, we're seeing just a few sprinkles right now. Certainly not the issues that we were seeing earlier. We have seen quite a few crashes. I'm going to turn it around our front camera here in our weather impact storm tracker. Some of those crashes and things happened during the heavy pockets of rain, which not only made it slick, but also affected visibility. One of those trouble spots was I-44 at Six Flags. The Missouri State Highway Patrol tells me a tractor trailer jackknifed in the slick conditions, forcing them to close westbound lanes until they cleared that crash just after 6 o'clock tonight. We've seen lots of cars run off the road into the ditch as well. The Highway Patrol has posted a few reminders on their Facebook page. 6 inches of water on the road can move a car, 2 feet of water can carry vehicles, and you truly never know how deep it is, especially in the dark. It's better just to follow that good old saying, turn around, don't drown. While things aren't coming down as far as rain-wise, it is still very slick out here. We have seen some people still sliding around, so we want you to be careful. The city of St. Louis also put out a notification about a flood watch tonight, so make sure you take it slow if you do have to drive. For now, we're live from the Weather Impact Storm Tracker. Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Rapid rain fell in St. Francis County today, leading to some voluntarily evacuating their homes. Others decided to stay near Iron Mountain Lake, despite officials saying a problematic levee could break.
Our Annie Crawl was about 80 miles south of St. Louis all day, uncovering why this levee reached such a dangerous point.
I'm here right by that Iron Mountain Lake levee that has the potential of failing, officials tell us, because of all of this rain. And there have been state troopers and first responders knocking on doors around Northwest and East Lakeshore drives, asking if people wanted to evacuate, and if they did, how they could do that safely.
The biggest thing I'm worried about right now is, since the rain has kind of slowed down or stopped, is people coming back home and thinking that it's safe.
Nick Jones with St. Francis EMA telling us Monday they were able to help people find voluntary shelter at Bismarck Senior Center as they focused on surveying about 25 homes in the spillover area after the Iron Mountain Lake levee was in danger of failing.
There has been a small hole in the levee for a little bit where they've been trying to mitigate the problem.
Officials have known about the leak since the summer, Jones says, now trying to fix it as best they can, citing financial reasons as to why it hasn't been fixed fully sooner. Crews are currently keeping an eye on about 24 houses in the direct path of the levee if it would break on Double End Highway and Indian Creek near the spillway.
So we've just been monitoring where that leak was in the levee, and then, like I said, over the spillway, there was quite a bit of water coming over the top of the spillway. It's still coming over the spillway at this time, but like I said, it has gone down quite a bit.
Now, it's going to take a while for all of this water to recede, but first responders are going to stay in the Lakeshore Drive area to monitor everything, and we will keep you updated about the weather impact on air and online at KSDK.com. Reporting in Iron Mountain Lake, Annie Crawl, 5 on your side.
And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, including parts of the metro area. Again, talking about winds here 50 to 60 miles per hour, kind of along this line that's coming out of Calhoun County down into St. Charles County right now. So this warning includes Jersey, Madison, St. Charles, and St. Louis counties, especially the northern part of St. Louis County. Basically from about Weldon Spring through Cottleville to Harvester into St. Peters, this line is producing some strong gusty winds. It may also have a few surges in it that could do just what we saw in far northwestern portions of St. Charles County, just spin up a very brief tornado. If you're inside, away from windows and doors, you're in your safe place. Another severe thunderstorm warning continuing now as that line of storms is approaching Washington County, Missouri, and into southeastern portions of Franklin County. Strong storms, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds possible, along with the torrential rain. Those are your threats. An isolated spin-up brief tornado, but weak, is not out of the question. So just stay inside and stay safe. Kelly, Mike.
Despite today's showers, dozens of people still got out and voted on the last day of no excuse absentee voting. Lines are wrapped around polling places in St. Louis County and in St. Charles County today.
And the start of the election is going to be wet. In just a matter of hours, many of you will head to the polls to cast your ballots.
And tonight, we're on your side to help make sure your process goes as smoothly as possible. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon joins us with more on free rides to the polls and what you should do if you run into problems. Brent?
Mike Kelly, a lot of buzz this year about early voting. If you took advantage of that, great. If you didn't, tomorrow is your opportunity to make your voice heard. Neighbors are helping neighbors make sure they have no issues at the polls.
I'm not actually telling them who to vote for. I just wanted to motivate the vote.
We introduced you to Marvin D. Red Martin last month when his transport service company announced plans to take people to the polls on Election Day. Now they're all ready for Tuesday.
We're going to pick up the people and take them to the polls. If it's a long line or something, if they got to wait, we'll give them our number and we'll come back and get them, and we'll get them from the polls and back to their home.
Several other local groups are doing the same. And check this out. When anyone uses the code NAACP Vote 24 on Lyft, you can get 2 free rides as long as both rides don't exceed $20 each. When you get there, make sure you don't run into roadblocks.
So voters should be prepared to bring that Missouri or federal ID, like a driver, non-driver's license, U.S. passport, military ID, or veteran's ID card. It can be expired as long as it expired after November 8th. 2022. The ID doesn't have to have your correct address on it either, as long as it's a valid Missouri or federal ID. Voters should also know that in St. Louis City and St. Louis County, you can cast your ballot at any available polling place.
Crews from the Missouri Voter Protection Coalition will be at the polls, ensuring everything goes smoothly.
Voters with any questions about the rules or facing any problems at the polls or concerned about interference at the polls should call the election election protection hotline at 866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. These calls are answered by attorneys in Missouri.
Take a look at the long line of people who packed the polls in the rain Monday ahead of Election Day. More rain is expected Tuesday.
Rain don't stop you from going to the club, the liquor store, none of that. Don't let it stop your vote.
Polls open at 6 a.m. They close at 7 p.m. For more info on how to arrange a free ride to the polls, visit this story in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
Missouri candidates from both parties are making their final push for Missourians to get out and vote. Nearly the entire slate of Missouri Republicans stopped by an airport hangar in Chesterfield this afternoon, while Missouri Democrats are spread out across the state. Candidates touched upon multiple issues that you'll find on your ballot tomorrow, such as abortion, and also newer issues such as access to the abortion drug mifepristone.
At the end of the day, I'm fighting to protect life and enforce the rule of law. There's a federal statute that makes it illegal to ship abortion pills through the mail, and yet that's exactly what the Biden administration is trying to do by rule. Statutes enacted by the people's elected representatives in Congress trump an administrative rule.
A lot of those are minors, and so that's in situations where some of them can't even consent. And I mean, he's essentially arguing that raped teenagers, we should have more of those here in Missouri who are giving birth to their rapist babies, and I think that that's a horrendous argument to be making.
Some Missouri Republicans will be heading down to Mar-a-Lago tomorrow to join former President Donald Trump's campaign.
And before the polls open, Missouri's Secretary of State is starting a legal battle over who can and can't watch over the election process. Jay Ashcroft filed suit against the Department of Justice, saying the DOJ is attempting to illegally interfere with polling places by sending workers to watch the polls. Election experts say it's a normal practice for the DOJ, but Ashcroft claims it's a violation of Missouri's laws.
Missouri law is very clear. It's very precise about who is allowed to be in polling places and who isn't. We want to make sure that the people of Missouri have the right environment to be able to comfortably vote and not be pressured, not be concerned about who all's there.
Personally, it's much to do about nothing. There are poll watchers for the DOJ across the United States in lots of different places. They really don't have any authority.
Right now, no action has been taken on the lawsuit. Both presidential candidates are making their final pitches to voters in the same state before Election Day.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris held rallies across Pennsylvania today. Former President Trump made 3 stops across the state. Just yesterday, he traveled to 2 other battleground states, North Carolina and Georgia. He's set to deliver a closing message in Michigan as well. While Vice President Harris is visiting 5 cities in Pennsylvania, she started her day joining a group of canvassers in Scranton. Both candidates told their supporters the most important thing they can do is vote.
We have to turn out and vote tomorrow. We're going to vote. But we're right there. And then we're going to do something, a term you've never heard of, make America great again. That's what we're going to do.
Pennsylvania, the race is not yet over. Okay, we got a lot of work to do, and we have got to finish strong. So listen, we got hard work to do, but here's the thing. We like hard work. Hard work is good work.
And before heading to the polls tomorrow, make sure you are prepared. Check out our voter guide on KSDK.com for info on all the major races in Missouri and Illinois. You can also text the word guide to 314-425-5355 for a link. And be sure to join us tomorrow night on 5+. We'll have live analysis and election results from 6 to 11 p.m. Text PLUS to 314-425-5355 for a link to download the app. The race to the White House, neck and neck.
We're just one day away.
Let's get to work. 24 hours to go.
We verify what happens if we need a tiebreaker. All right, so our weather impact alert continues. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. Parts of St. Charles County, northern parts of St. Louis County, up into parts of Calhoun, Jersey, and Madison County. That includes Alton and just north of Chesterfield. This line producing some wind gusts, 40 to maybe up to 60 miles per hour. Might have a little brief spin up with it as well. We're tracking this across a good chunk of the region tonight and the impacts that we may see before daybreak.
It takes 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. However, what happens if there's a tie?
Well, Brandon Lewis with our Verify team looks into the Electoral College and explains what happens in a neck-and-neck race.
Verify here with your election fast fact. To win the presidency, a candidate must win the majority of Electoral College votes. There are 538 electoral votes, so 270 is the magic number. But it's mathematically possible for both candidates to end up in a 269-269 tie. So what happens then? We checked with these sources that explain it's up to the newly elected members of the House to decide the winner once they take office in January. Each state delegation gets a single vote, and it takes 26 votes to win. This has happened twice before. The last time was in 1825, when the House named John Quincy Adams as president. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact forecast, some new information for us.
We are continuing to track the situation across the area. Right now, we don't have any new warnings, but we still have the one severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of the metro area. And you can see how this storm kind of has a really little bend to it, the little kink in it. That's largely why this storm has a warning on it right now. Potentially some wind gusts here from 40 to 60 miles per hour, but no signs that it's really widespread severe weather. In fact, when we look a little bit closer at this, yeah, it's a pretty definitive line here as this works across a more rural section of St. Charles County. Once you get up here in this area where it's a little more intense, we're in the Orchard Farm area going over towards West Alton. Then you get back into St. Charles. You're getting some drenching rain, St. Peter's, moving into St. Charles, down Highway 94 and 364 right now. And that's right over the Weather Service office, but they're telling us at the Weather Service forecast office right now, it's nearly calm. They don't have much in the way of gusty winds at all. And that's where you would expect to see at least some gustiness in that breeze. So out ahead of this, moving into western portions of St. Charles and St. Louis County, we still have more rain to deal with. And there's one more warning that's down to the south. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. That looks like it may be weakening just a little bit in intensity, but we're also getting some attenuation from the radar. In other words, it's pouring so hard at the Weather Service, the radar beam not seeing that as clearly. A lot of rain behind this, and there is a flash flood warning in effect for Phelps County, Dent County, farther to the south and west too. That may end up being a bigger threat through the overnight hours and into tomorrow than what we have at this point from a severe threat. So from now until noon on Tuesday, we're going to go with our weather impact alert. We have this line of showers and thunderstorms. There may be an additional one that tries to develop later tonight into tomorrow, but it's really along this initial line where we think the severe weather threat is a little bit higher. However, we may get some additional rainfall, so keep those devices charged. We also have a flood watch that's now in effect that includes the metro St. Louis area through noon on Tuesday, because this whole line is tending to stall out across the region. At the airport right now, flights have been coming and going at Lambert this evening, not anything really big. Even though you have the severe thunderstorm warning in St. Charles, still have lots of power on there and no big problems, as we can tell at this point. But we have had some heavy rain and potentially some gusty winds, and perhaps that brief tornado out along Highway W in far northwestern portions of St. Charles County. Quick spin up, quick, done, gone. All right, so here's our impact alert timeline through the overnight hours. It's going to stay wet right into tomorrow morning for the rush hour. We're as warm now as we've been all day long. We're at 71 degrees as this line pushes in. Futurecast has had a pretty good handle on it. See how this first wave kind of lifts off to the north and east, and then there are more storms that develop as we head towards 3, 4, or 5 o'clock in the morning. These would be less likely to be severe, but what they do is kind of what we saw this morning. They go over the same areas with tremendous rainfall rates, and so there's the potential tomorrow morning we'll be dealing with some flooding across the area. And that also means if you're voting early, you'll probably need the umbrella if you're standing out at the polls outside. Going into tomorrow afternoon, hopefully the rain's shifting east of here, and by tomorrow night, we will see some clearing. Storm energy, it's somewhat limited. It's been focused more to the south, and as we head through the remainder of the night, we actually see that kind of winding down somewhat. So we keep our weather impact alert right through tomorrow midday, assuming we have some problems with some flooding tomorrow morning. We're quite warm tomorrow. We're close to 70 for the high. Most of the rain is early on. Again, as we go into tomorrow night, we're going to wind this system down, push it out. Wednesday and Thursday look pretty nice. By Friday into Saturday, clouds start rolling in. They will stick with us with the chance for some showers and maybe some thunder on Saturday. We don't have anything really chilly to talk about in the near future. But right now, with these storms, the biggest threat would be an isolated spin-up, brief tornado, and some gusty winds along with a heavy rain. If you're inside, away from windows and doors, you're in your safe place.
All right. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, the Billikens, Tigers, and Illini opened up their basketball seasons tonight. The Blues got some good news, and the Chiefs are trying to stay perfect. We'll be right back.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
It's stunning when you think about it. Mizzou didn't win a game in 2024. Their last win was December 30th, 236 days ago, 19 straight losses. And playing at Memphis is not an easy place to end this streak, but that's where the Tigers had to open up the season. Bill Laurie, who played at Memphis and writes checks to both schools in the building. Mizzou came out flying, throwing lob dunks to Aiden Shaw right there. And when Trent Pierce hit this three, Mizzou was up 36-22. But Mizzou literally fell apart. Memphis outscored the Tigers 51-33 in the second half. They win 83-75, 20 losses in a row for the Tigers. The Billikens opened up their season in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They faced Santa Clara, who won 20 games last season and returned 7 of their best 8 players. So they're pretty good. Well, the Billikens not only lost a game, but their best player also. Kellen Thames got the start, and the pride of Pattonville got the rebound on one end, sifts through traffic for 2 of his 16 points. Robbie Avila was knocking down threes, 16 points and 5 assists. Bottom right of your screen, Avila lands poorly on his right ankle, and he was writhing in pain. Isaiah Swope tried to keep them in it. He had 24 points, not enough without the injured Avila. Santa Clara wins it 85-78.
We turn it over 17 times, which is ridiculous, and we give up 15 offensive rebounds, and they get 10 more shots than us. You can't beat a good team, an NCAA tournament caliber team like Santa Clara, if you allow them 10 more shots than you, and that's what happened today. So credit to them. I'm proud of our guys for their fight. Thought we competed, thought we stayed together.
The Illini have a new and talented team hosting Eastern Illinois. The block on one end and the gifted freshman Will Riley will finish. Illinois rolls 112-67. Well, the Blues have to stay together. They've lost their best overall player, Robert Thomas, to injury. And on Saturday, they lost their defenseman who was playing the best, Philip Broberg. But the Blues are breathing easier. The injury won't end his season. Like Thomas, the 23-year-old Broberg is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with the always mysterious lower body injury. Today at Centene, Justin Falk teamed up with Pierre-Olivier Joseph. They will be the top pairing going forward. P.O. brings speed and length to the back line, but he won't be asked to carry a heavy load. Scott Perunovich and Matthew Kessel will be counted on for more.
P.O. and Kess did a good job with 5D for half the game, and now, Perrin's able to step in and get an opportunity, and we're going to have to lean on these guys to play some good hockey for us.
You just got to come prepare and take every shift like it's, maybe your last shift and enjoy the process of it. I think it's, in this league, it's a lot of reps, as many reps as possible you can get, the better you can get.
Bucks and Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes will just push it to Samaje Perine for the touchdown. Mahomes landed awkwardly and needed help off the field. He came back because he's Patrick Mahomes. Touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins. The Chiefs have just won the game 30-24 in overtime. One of the great Cardinals of all time, Kenny Boyer, has been put on the Classic Baseball Era Committee ballot for the Hall of Fame class of 2025. Why not? He's an 11-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glover, won the MVP in '64. That's the really good news. The bad on the ballot, people like Dave Parker, Dick Allen, Steve Garvey, and Tommy John. So it won't be easy. And that will do it in sports.
All right. Thanks, Frank. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we get you a quick weather impact alert here. Update on that severe thunderstorm warning. Doesn't look overly impressive because it really isn't. Heavy rain, some lightning, maybe some gusty winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. Storm looks like it's weakening now. We're back to check it out for good in just a few minutes.
The rain continues to come down. Scott has a final check of our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, the severe weather threat looks to be very limited here. We saw this morning up in the northern portions of St. Charles County, northern St. Louis County as well, over into northwestern Madison County. But that thing is weakening. As you get a little closer look at it, yeah, it's still pouring here in St. Charles at the Blanchette Bridge. Then we look into the rest of the metro, and it's not too bad. We go a little farther down this line, and they're not extending that warning that was farther to the south. So I think the biggest threat overnight tonight is going to be from rain and maybe some gusty winds in a few places. An isolated spin-up brief tornado, if we get that, it's literally going to be very brief and small and not overly intense. We just don't have the ingredients there together overnight. But we'll be staying here, and we'll be with you on 5 Plus overnight and, on KSDK.com.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10, and we're always streaming on 5 Plus.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis, and that starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.